Okay. First of all, for all of you out there that are calling the police thugs and jackboots and calling anybody who supports them bootlickers because they respect them and you don't. Okay. Well, let's change the word. You don't respect them. You don't have to. I'm not asking you to respect them. I'm asking you to be civil. You can be civil to somebody you don't respect, you don't like. You can even be civil with someone you hate. Trust me. Ask anybody who works in customer service and they get customers that are yelling and screaming at them. But they want to keep their job, so they are civil. They turn up the sweetness and so that they can't be accused of being rude back. Because it's usually recorded. So that when that person, inevitably calls and complains and says that you were rude to them, can obviously review the footage or the recording based on if it was a call center or a gas station or a grocery store. You can see these people are civil. They can be civil even when someone else is verbally abusive to them. .99% of your problems with police, probably 99.9% of your problem with police when they pull you over for any reason whatsoever, if you are civil with them, you are not verbally or physically abusive to them, you're going to make it out unscathed 99.9% of the time. There are the few cops, very few, that are assholes. They're just complete dicks. And they don't give a fuck who they hurt. But that is the few. That is not the many. And painting the entire police force in a wide brush that all of them are out to hurt you, kill you, maim you, whatever. Excuse me. It's just wrong. That is simply not the case. I have had exactly one instance with a police officer that was unsatisfactory. And I was trying to be helpful. But he didn't like my description of the suspect, that they came and asked me if I'd seen anybody that was suspicious looking on foot. I tried to give him a description. He got frustrated and left. And half an hour later, another cop came by. He took my description. They were looking for a suspect that fled on foot from a hit and run. Happened to be a white suspect. I gave them a decent description. He didn't like the fact that I used average height. And he's like, well, what do you mean by average height? Well, the average height for a white man is 5'10". He was roughly around 5'10". Slim build. Say probably around 130 pounds. 140, somewhere around there. And he was wearing a pair of shorts and a white wrong side out t-shirt, baseball hat, and the t-shirt had red splatter on the inside, on the side of the shirt, between where his arm would rest and the side of his body. And he had it on wrong side out. He also had an iPhone. I know it was an iPhone because he asked me to charge it for him because it was dead. And he needed to call someone for a ride. Now, this is out in the country, in a little village. I worked at a gas station, third shift. So, I took his phone and I put it on the charger. I thought it was a little odd that there was grass stuck between actual grass from the ground, stuck between the phone and the phone case. He gave me this BS story about him getting into a fight with his girl. In the car. And she dropped him on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. Complete BS. But after I gave my description, the police brought the canine unit out and were searching the woods around the trailer park right next to the gas station. They found him hiding in the woods. Literally, my only was that the first police officer didn't give me a chance to finish my description. He got frustrated and left. Second guy, less frustrated. Took my description. They found the guy. Probably would have found him sooner if the first cop hadn't gotten frustrated with me. Am I upset with him? No. Was I cordial? Was I polite? Was I civil? Yes, on all 3 counts. I have never, ever been uncivil with a police officer. Even when I was in the wrong. Always been civil. Never had a problem. Now, if people could stop acting like, or excuse me, behaving, not acting, behaving as though they are auditioning to be on the Jerry Springer show or Real Housewives of whatever, the Jersey Shore, or any other number of those freaking stupid ass reality shows. Y'all know that's not reality, right? That is scripted and edited for maximum drama. That is not, excuse me, that is not how normal, self-respecting person acts. Isn't that how they behave? No. You need to start behaving like your mother would be proud of you. Not like if she could see you, she'd run out there and swat you with a fly swatter or her shoe. What is this world coming to? Attacking police officers. For no good reason. Correction. There is never a good reason to attack a police officer. Ever. You own up to what you did. First of all, don't do shit wrong. Stop acting like a thug. Because that is not a way to get respect. You are civil with them. 99% of the time, they're going to be civil with you. You know, unless you get, the few bad apples that are complete dicks. Just be civil. You don't have to respect them to be civil. Respect yourself. Behave like a decent human being. Not like you're auditioning for Jerry Springer. All that shit's scripted. It's fake. Just like pro wrestling. Fake. Act like behave as though you're a decent human being. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want someone to treat you like a piece of crap, you've got some serious issues. If you want to be treated like you are a decent human being, then treat others the same way. There is no reason whatsoever to ever be a bully. Ever. And that's what you're doing. You're being a bully. I have seen video of these, I don't want to call them protesters because I don't think the protesters would be this bad, but borderline rioters trying to cause a conflict with the police, getting up in their face, spitting at them, screaming at them. They're trying to get them to react. I feel sorry for these police officers. I have seen video of these people getting right up in their face, and I'm sitting here going, damn, I am not a violent person, but I would like to smack that girl. Because she's not no self-respect whatsoever behaving in that way. None whatsoever. I understand you're upset about the way George Floyd died. I get it. He shouldn't have died that way. The Brooks situation, on the other hand, some of you are going to disagree with me. I get that. But I'm going to explain something to you. He brought that on himself by his actions. I have had 2 brothers. I have 6 brothers total, but I have 2 that are alcoholics. 2 that have had DUIs. Yes, they both went to jail for it. Difference is, they didn't resist. They owned up to their shit. They went to jail quietly. Now, however, hypothetically, had they pulled that same shit, I would not have blamed the cop. I wouldn't. Would have been their own fucking dumbass mistake. I'd have told him that. Shook his hand and told me he did a good job. Even if it ended up with my brother getting shot because he was a dumbass who resisted arrest, assaulted the police officer, excuse me, stolen his taser, and fired at them. He got shot for doing that, which I fully expect to happen, for being a dumbass. There's no excuse. Literally no excuse whatsoever anybody has for doing that. No excuse. You know you did wrong. You own up to it. You go quietly with the police to jail. And I'll tell you one more thing. One of those 2 brothers could legally be shot simply by resisting. Simply by getting into a fight with him. Because his dumbass is a black belt. Which means his body is a deadly weapon. It's classified as a deadly weapon. You don't have to have a weapon in your hands in order to be considered a threat. He's a black belt in Taekwondo, which literally makes him a deadly weapon. He doesn't even have to go for the taser or the gun. Literally just the act of getting into a fight. He's assaulted them with a deadly weapon. Literally. Legally speaking, his body is a deadly weapon. So he done fucked up right there. If he were to assault a police officer, they would have every right to shoot him right then and there. Just for hitting them. Because he's a black belt, which makes his entire body classified as a deadly weapon. He doesn't even have to have an actual weapon on him. There's literally no reason to ever resist arrest. There isn't. You did something wrong, you go to jail. Simple as that. He knew he did wrong, driving drunk. I yelled at both of my brothers when I found out, like seriously yelled. Smacked them both in the back of the head. The fuck were you thinking, dumbass? Like I said, had this happened to either one of my brothers, or anybody else I care about, still would have been their own dumbass mistake, and I still wouldn't have blamed the cop. Well, luckily their dumbasses, didn't continue the stupidity and resist arrest. But had they done so, and got shot for doing it, I would not blame them. Not one. I would not blame the police one little bit. I'd shake their hand, tell them they did a good job, and I don't blame them. The blame falls squarely where it belongs. On the dumbass that resisted arrest and stole the weapon. They made themselves a threat. He made himself a threat. The police didn't do it. Nobody forced him to resist arrest. Nobody forced him to steal the weapon. Nobody forced him to fire said weapon back at them. That's simple. I completely support our police officers in striking for the way they are being treated and railroaded. They're being attacked, beat up, killed, spit on, which is actually a felony to spit on a cop. That's actually assaulting a police officer. I know this because I had an ex-roommate that did that. He assaulted a police officer because he was a dumbass. But if everyone could just stop behaving like they're on the Jerry Springer show or some other crap reality TV show, which none of that is real. It is all freaking scripted and edited for maximum drama. Normal people do not act like that. They don't act like they're freaking crazy. Start acting like you have a brain and a little bit of self-respect. Stop acting like spoiled little brats. Just act like civilized human beings with a shred of human decency and common sense. This is freaking ridiculous. And you're attacking random people on the streets and beating them up for literally no reason. You're burning businesses to the ground. The hell did Wendy's do to you? There's no reason to be acting like this. You're acting like a bunch of fucking two-year-olds having a tantrum. But a 2-year-old couldn't cause this much destruction. Stop the looting. Stop the rioting. I understand the protesting. As long as it's peaceful, you're not hurting anybody, I don't give a shit. Go ahead, protest. But the moment you cross that line and you start attacking people or their property, you start intimidating people and just flat out bullying them, then we have a problem. You've crossed the line from peaceful protester to a threat. Speaking of which, I firmly support the FedEx driver that accidentally drove over the looter and rioter. They got, stuck between his wheels. But that man was in fear. I say man, I don't know if the driver was a woman or not. It's in fear for their life. That is a semi-driver. He couldn't see his tires. They can't see you unless you can see their mirrors. So the driver probably had no clue that he had a stowaway. But they were attacking his vehicle. If they'd have gotten that person out of their vehicle, that person would be dead. Because they were attacking the vehicle. Darn well, if they'd have gotten the driver out, the driver would have been beaten to death. Because these people are acting like crazed animals. It's fucking scary. Like I said, I fully support their right to strike. For one, they're being railroaded. Two, the way the public is treating them. There were 4 cops that were involved in the original incidents. And they've all been fired and have been charged. Now, the other 2 cops from Atlanta should not have been charged, should not have been fired. And that is why a lot of them are calling off, striking, and putting in their notice and quitting. Because, 1, the way they're being treated, and 2, that was a lawful, justified takedown. And they are being railroaded and used as a scapegoat. I fully support them striking, because I would too. It is completely uncalled for. The police are there to protect you. Yes, there have been a few mistakes here and there. Granted. But like I said, in 99.9% of the time, they do their job well. Innocent people don't wind up dead. And no, Mr. Brooks was not innocent. He brought that all on himself. He attacked them first. He made himself a threat. He was running towards the public with a weapon. Fired the weapon towards the police officer. A split second later, he was shot. Y'all think you could do better? Sign up to be a cop. Let's see if you could do better. That was a justified shooting. You're all like, a taser is not a lethal weapon. Doesn't mean they can't tase the cop and take his gun. Or if you tase them long enough, you can make their heart stop, because you're electrocuting them. Cops are trained to use that correctly. Average Joe, not so much. You keep holding that button down, keep electrocuting them, it might actually kill them. You never know. He could have carjacked somebody in the drive-thru line. Attacked one of them. He'd already beat both the cops up to begin with. Did you really think they were going to be able to take him down non-lethal after that? Nope. I'm sorry. He made those decisions. He chose suicide by cop. If he did not want to die, he could have complied. They were just taking him to jail. They weren't being overly aggressive with him. They were very polite, cordial, civil. Dare I say respectful. And as soon as they went to arrest him, he went from civil to total wackadoo. In a split second. They were taken by surprise, beat the fuck out of him. And got away with their weapon. And the dumbass decided it would be a good idea to fire at them. What was this man thinking? Seriously. And all of you out there going, he was drunk. You do stupid shit when you're drunk. Okay. Drunk doesn't make you do shit. It really doesn't. It allows you to do stuff you normally wouldn't allow yourself to do. All it does is intensify your base personality. Now, when I'm drunk, I laugh a lot and fall down. But that's because my basic personality is bubbly. I don't have a violent personality. I really don't. My normal personality is bubbly and happy-go-lucky. So when I drink, pretty much everything is hysterical. And I'm a klutz, so I fall down a lot. That's me in a nutshell when I'm drunk. Then there are people who shouldn't drink at all, and those are the ones that get violent when they drink. But I don't drink very often because alcoholism runs in my family. So I limit how often and how much I drink. Because I already have one addiction, it's smoking. I don't need another. And I know damn well not to get behind the fucking wheel after I've been drinking. Speaking of which, I firmly believe that anyone that gets pulled over for a DUI should also be charged with attempted vehicular manslaughter because they are driving a deadly weapon while intoxicated. Because if you get into a car accident and kill someone while you're drunk, you're charged with, I believe, vehicular murder. Could be vehicular manslaughter, but you still go to prison. I think that if you get caught drunk driving, even if you haven't had the accident yet, that you should be charged with attempted vehicular manslaughter. Maybe if the consequences of doing so were higher, less people would do it. But that's what I want to say. I want to ask everyone to just be civil with each other. I don't care if you don't like each other. I don't care if you don't respect each other. Just be civil. If we could just be civil with each other, everybody, the world would be a hell of a lot better off. We'd have less murder, less death, less people in prison if we could get people to actually behave as if they have a shred of self-respect. But that's all I wanted to say.